Welcome back. So millions of people are anxiously awaiting tomorrow's big eclipse. I mean, I know people that are taking off work tomorrow up north. Well, one of the prime spots to watch in the United States is in Illinois, where researchers will be exploring how the event will affect our pets. Scientists with Southern Illinois University are making audio recordings across the path of totality. It's to study animals' behavior during the event. This entire project is being funded by NASA. Researchers say the data will be used to get this for the next 350 years. And speaking of this year's solar eclipse, one local school district has made the decision to have an excused absence for the event over in Glades County to be cautious. And after hearing some concerns from parents about absence, well, from noon until the end of the day on Monday, it'll be excused. But if you decide to keep your child in school tomorrow, they will be participating in solar eclipse activities. But over in Lee County, no special changes will be made for the solar eclipse. According to the district, all schools will be open and operating on regular schedules, but some students will have the opportunity to observe the partial eclipse in their science classes while following safety protocols. And let's get over to Justin because he's going to show us some fancy ways of what this is going to look like.
We're going to break down exactly what it's going to look like here in Fort Myers. Before that, though, anybody who has maybe the wild hair, who maybe have extra sky miles and you want to go chase full totality, well, here's what the forecast is looking like. We've talked a lot about this because the cloud coverage is going to cause a lot of problems, especially across Texas. The best area likely going to be between northeastern Arkansas up through the tri-states and even into Indiana. Maybe a few high clouds, then off to the far New England area. That's likely going to be some of the best area that we're going to see this total eclipse. Now, in this path, this is the only spot where you're going to see that full ring of the sun and where the complete dimness of the earth and goes, and also where the temperatures are going to substantially drop. It's only in that full path of totality, not the 90%, not the 95%. Now, for us here in Southwest Florida, if you're staying here at home for the eclipse, we're not going to be completely let out. In fact, we're going to see something pretty cool. Here in Fort Myers, we're going to see the sun covered up at about 52%. So roughly in all of Southwest Florida, in that 50% tile range, you will see the sun covered up. So what is this going to look like? And, well, how can you watch it? Well, number one is we don't want to look directly at the sun. So if you have the protective eye gear, the proper eye gear, you can actually watch the eclipse happen. But if you don't have this proper gear, and make sure you're checking to see if it says that ISO 12 number, that makes sure that it's up to standards. But let's say you do not have those glasses. How can you watch this safely? There are definitely ways you can. One of those is just by finding a tree and you're out in your backyard. So what you're going to do as we get into the afternoon, when the eclipse begins, that moon starts to enter in front of the sun at 1:43 locally, we'll start to see that sun get covered up. What you're going to notice is that the leaves of trees, as the sun is passing through them, it's going to create this kind of odd crescent shape on the ground. That's actually the sunlight that's being transmitted through the leaves because the sun's being covered up by the moon. We will see our peak here in Fort Myers at about 2:59. Now, if you have the kids who are staying at home tomorrow and you don't want to just go stand by a tree, you want to do something fun, here's a simple experiment. Just take two little white cardboard pieces. On one of them, take like a pin or a needle, poke a very tiny little hole. In fact, you can't see it on the camera because it's so tiny. What you're going to do is you're going to hold it up to your side, turn your back to the sun, have another piece of paper here and hold it right up to it. And you're going to get similar crescent shapes right on this piece of paper, but you're only going to get one because of that one hole passing through. So that's a little bit of some fun ways that you can watch this eclipse tomorrow. Now, once the eclipse starts to end, of course, you're not going to see that anymore. The eclipse will come to an end at 4:13 local time for us. Should be really cool. Definitely get outside and check it out. And, of course, if you can't get outside tomorrow, you can also watch it. It's going to be streaming on NASA. Also, you can watch satellite imagery, which is another very cool way to watch it. For us, I'm tracking these high clouds for us for tomorrow. It's going to be a really nice day, in fact. Let's take a look at that local forecast here as we get into tomorrow. We've got high pressure in place here off towards our northeast. That's keeping us dry. That's also going to keep most of the cloud coverage out of here.